Hey, I'm Dusti Martin with the Martin Group at Platinum Living Realty, jumping in to give you your monthly market update for the town of Paradise Valley. It is currently December 8th, 2023, so buckle up. Let's go. All right, let's just get right into it. Our active listings are up 14.4% over this time last year, but our sold listings are down 11.1% over this time last year. With all that said, though, our median price per square foot is up double digits at 12.8% over this time last year, currently sitting at a median price per square foot of over $721, or basically almost $722 per square foot. Last year, we were only at $640. There has been a huge jump in home values in Paradise Valley, keeping with the trend that I have often pointed out on this channel is that Paradise Valley tends to be one of the best investments in the valley when it comes to protecting your real estate investment and its value. With that said, our months of supply, though, is up 28.7% over this time last year with 11.4 months of supply. That is a buyer's market overall. However, you need to take into account that most of Paradise Valley, with the exception of a few condos on the outskirts that maybe aren't even technically inside the Paradise Valley border, but they do have a Paradise Valley address and are like across the street. With that said, the vast majority of single-family detached homes in Paradise Valley are almost all over $1 million just to get your foot in the door and for something that's probably also really dated. And so it wasn't that long ago. It was like 2020 where $900,000 might get you a gut job built 40 or 50 years ago in need of a complete renovation. So with that said, with the huge swings we've seen in the last, 3 years, almost 4 here in Paradise Valley, you can rest assured that getting that same $900,000 home in 2020 during the lockdown would probably cost you $1.5 million today or more in some cases. So keep that in mind. However, it's also the winter months, and December tends to be our slowest month in Arizona, particularly for this price point. Okay. And wait till the end, watch the end, and I will explain where these buyers usually show up in our calendar year. Our median days on market, though, is up 20.3% over this time last year. We went from 37 median days on market to 44 median days on market. That's really not a lot. It's like a week, an extra week it might take you to sell your home, but it's going to sell for a lot more money. So keep that in mind. Our supply is up and our demand is down. That's normal for December. Usually things don't get busy in this price point in this area until January 1. Think TPC, think the Barrett-Jackson Car Show, all these other big events that bring people, all the bowl games, if you will, all of that brings in a lot of very high dollar buyers. And that's usually when they show up. Right now, they're somewhere cold enjoying a white Christmas. Okay. All right. So right here, this is a good spot to take a break, hit the subscribe button, get a drink, because now we're going to break it down by price point. We can all agree the $300,000 buyer is not in the same category as a $3 million buyer. So that's why I break these down every month for you. So we don't have inventory and therefore no sales in the $0 to $100,000 range or the $100,000 to $200,000 range, or even in the $200,000 to $300,000 range. There was one property didn't sell. My guess is it came on at the end of the month last month and it's not been sold yet or hadn't been sold as of the date I generated this report. So we don't have any data for under $300,000 in Paradise Valley, mostly because there's no inventory and there hasn't been inventory in these price points for a very long time. So we're going to skip down to the $300,000 to $500,000 price range. Again, these are usually condos and townhomes on the outskirts or the perimeter of Paradise Valley because you're not going to see a lot of them on the mountain, right? And we are at a 5-month supply of inventory. So that is an even stable market that's kind of leaning towards the seller's direction. However, you're probably not going to see things selling for list price. You're probably going to actually have to negotiate and give things up. But you're also just not going to see a lot of inventory in general. There's only 5 properties in that category and only one of them sold. And that's assuming that they can all be financed or use FHA or VA financing. A lot of the lower dollar price points are condos and townhomes, and it requires semi-annual paperwork for them to maintain their eligibility with HUD. And so a lot of times they don't want to do it, or they don't understand it, or they've had a management company turnover and it gets slipped, or they don't understand it. And so that rules out a lot of buyers that would otherwise be buying that home. So if it can't be FHA or VA financed, then that only leaves cash or conventional. And at that price point in Paradise Valley, cash or conventional, they might actually get more for their money. They might actually get an actual single family detached home in another part of the valley. So that's to be expected in this price range. But once the investors show up, you never know what'll happen. Then we're going to look at the 500 to 700,000 and the 700 to $1 million. Combined, there's only 10 properties in those price ranges and none of them sold. I also don't remember them being there last month. So I would guess is that these are homes that came on the market towards the end of November or maybe just before Thanksgiving. And unfortunately, that's not when you should be listing a home in Arizona. There's usually a big break, a big pause between Thanksgiving and January 1st. So right now we are in the quiet period, which is to be expected. This is our historical norm. But if you really do need to sell and you are in those price ranges or even anywhere in the valley and you need to sell right now, you need to price it as if you need to sell, because the only people out searching for homes during the holidays are people that absolutely need to move right now. So you have to take your buyer into consideration. And if you don't need to buy right now, maybe take it temporary off market and let it come back after New Year's, January 1. Don't rack up those days on market if you don't need to. Then we look at the $1 to $3 million price range. This is now, like I said, entry level. And a lot of Paradise Valley these days, we are at a 6.67 months of supply. So just over 6.5 months of inventory. That is an even stable market. And you're probably going to take at least 90 days, average median days on market just to get it under contract. And then you're going to take another 30 to 60, 45 being the average in this price range to get things actually closed and negotiated and whatnot. So with that said, if you want to sell right now, you need to be aggressive because you have competition. And so there's, 40 other properties on the market in just that one little zip code that is Paradise Valley. You have to be competitive, but you also can't sit there and expect to have multiple offers, let alone list price offers. Okay. Then we're going to look at the $3 million price range and over. Now, this is a 14-month supply of inventory, a little more, not quite an extra week there, but let's just say 14 months, a little over a year's worth of inventory. This is actually down from last year. Last year, we had a 16 and a half month supply of inventory. So we've actually reduced that inventory by about a little over 2 months worth of inventory. That's good, but also keep in mind this price point in Arizona kind of goes dormant, and it does have very wild swings from one extreme to another month to month. So we really need to be comparing year over year to establish our historical norm. And unfortunately, if you're in this price range, historically normal for this time of year is dead, right? You are in a buyer's market. You need to be super aggressive with your pricing and your marketing strategy. You need to make sure your home is putting its absolute best foot forward if you're looking to sell right now. However, come January 1, I expect that to change and change quickly. So if you're a buyer out there right now, I would get it while the pickings are good, because once January hits, all the other buyers that are on the sidelines that don't need to move, those ones are going to also enter the marketplace, and you will be competing with them. And you'll be left wondering why in December, nothing was happening. Nobody had offers, and now you're losing to multiple offers. So mark my words, things will get busier. Now, will they get busier to be a seller's market? Who knows? But we do know that interest rates have been continually falling the last 3 or 4 weeks. And 2024 is going to be a presidential election year. And historically speaking, presidential election years tend to have lower interest rates. I'm not saying that there's anything going on there, but it sure happens a lot. Okay. And so when interest rates go down, people can afford more and they go shopping. If you're wondering what that home buying process would look like for you in Paradise Valley, or if you're wondering what your home would sell for in today's market, go ahead and give me a call, 480-717-9405, or visit my website at dustimartinrealtor.com.